Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabansi, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and when we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got a pretty interesting show for you guys, but before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, this is going to be a pretty interesting show, but we got to talk about it anyway. Now, was doing some research this morning, and I came across an article featuring NBA Hall of Famer Rick Barry. Now, as you guys know, Rick Barry is an NBA champion, NBA Finals MVP in the 1975 campaign. He was an 8-time All-Star. He made, what, 5 All-First NBA teams, 6 seconds. So he made, 1 second, so 6 All-NBA teams, All-Star Game MVP, 4-time All-Star. He was also the NBA Rookie of the Year, and he led the league in scoring in 1967, and he led the league in assists in 1975. He was a pretty bad boy. Think about it. In 1975, he won the championship, he won the Finals MVP, and he led the league in steals in that same year. Pretty incredible stuff, right? So he's a hell of a player, And as a matter of fact, anyway, so he's a hell of a player. So I was going through the internet, and I was, and I came across an article of his. Now, as you guys know, Jaylen Brown just signed the richest contract in NBA history, a $300 million, excuse me, a $300 million contract. And some people are happy. People like JJ Redick are rejoicing, happy, hey, you got it, boy. This the era, guys. So JJ Redick and people like that are happy. But some people are questioning how the hell was he able to get this contract. And one of these people that questioned it was Rick Barry. Rick Barry himself was actually surprised at the fact that he was able to get this contract. And to me, I thought it was pretty hilarious, because when I saw him speaking, the interesting thing about it was he didn't hold back. So he did an interview on Joy D'Angela's channel, and they talked about the NBA and various things. And then it got to the point where they were talking about the current NBA, and they started talking about contracts. And when it got to the point when they were supposed to be discussing his contract, he absolutely did not hold back on Jaylen Brown. But before we get into that, this video is brought to you by our sponsor, Aura, who's also the official sponsor of the T-Wolves. Do you know what the fastest growing crime in America is today? It's identity theft. Imagine trying to log into your email only to see that your password has been changed. Then you start getting weird notifications from your bank and credit cards, only to find out that all of your personal and sensitive information has been totally compromised. If you think it can happen to you and your family, just know that in 2020, over 49 million Americans were victims to identity theft, costing them a combined $56 billion. That is why we are excited to partner with Aura, who's the sponsor of this video. Aura is the #1 identity theft and financial fraud protection. Aura monitors the dark web and alerts you if any of your passwords and accounts have been breached. And funny enough, after using Aura, I discovered some of my credentials were floating around in the dark web, and the app showed me exactly when and where the breach happened. In addition, Aura allows you to set spending alerts, and they'll notify you of any suspicious transactions. Aura is 4 times faster than any of its competitors in alerting you if someone is trying to open a credit card or obtain a loan using your name. And remember this, every 14 seconds, someone becomes a victim of identity fraud. Don't let it happen to you. Now click the link in the description and try Aura for free for 2 weeks and see if any of you or your family's personal information has been compromised. Start your free trial at aura.com/dreamerspro. And when you try Aura, by using the link in the description below, also know that you're supporting this channel. Thank you. So what we want to do is want to play exactly what he had to say about Jaylen Brown's contract, and then we're going to come back and react to his comments. Take a listen to what Rick Barry had to say here.
I mean, I'm not saying he's not a bad player, but he has to prove that he can be consistent.
Gotcha.
I mean, if you're getting paid, $40–50 million a year, you sure as hell better play really well. I mean, seriously. I mean, you look at some of the contracts they have, even, like Brown, $306 million. I mean, that's just hard for me to believe. I mean, you know what his average in the playoffs for them is 18.5 points a game. I mean, 18.5 points a game, and he's going to make $69 million in the last year of his contract.
That's great. That's a lot of money, Rick.
But 18.5 points a game that's nothing. I mean, seriously, to pay somebody that kind of money, and he's a nice player. I really like him. But, man, he's got to improve his game. He turns the ball over too much. He tries to force things, and so is his teammate, Tatum. That's one of the reasons they lost to the Warriors 2 seasons ago. They make too many turnovers. In the game of basketball, you must say, there's a saying, keep it simple, stupid. Okay? Keep it as simple as possible. You take what the defense gives you. That's what I try to instill in my guys here with the ball hogs. Take what the defense gives you. A play is only designed so everybody knows where they are, and if the ideal thing happens, you know where you're supposed to go, what you're supposed to do if certain things happen. But if other things happen, you change. You do it. You go the other way.
So you heard his comments, right? You heard his comments. Here are my thoughts. Well, I think that Jaylen Brown got that contract because he was in a very unique position where they could offer him a supermax, number one. Number two, you got to look at the market, right? You got to look at the market. He got that contract because that's what the market was willing to pay him. Now, whether or not you believe he deserves that money from a production standpoint, from the vantage point of whether or not he's improving as a player, that's another thing. He did bring up some points about his game, talking about he only averaged 18.5 points per game, to be having the richest contract in NBA history. He spoke about the deficiencies in his game, especially when it comes to turning over the ball. And to anybody who watched that Golden State Warriors series against the Boston Celtics in the NBA Finals, man, those Boston Celtics absolutely shot themselves in the leg with those turns. It was incredible. They were literally giving the game away. And as a matter of fact, when we were talking about that series, I actually said that the Celtics' inexperiences was costing them, because they certainly had the talent to beat the Warriors, but the Warriors were just not going to make those mental errors. And funny enough, the Warriors are a team that actually turns the ball over and have some careless passes. Stephen Curry is one of them. But the way that they were turning over the ball in that series was absolutely alarming, and it's one of the reasons that they lost. Now, apart from that, did he deserve the contract? Is what they paid him. Right? He didn't steal the contract. He didn't run up into the Boston offices and say, hey, you got to give me the blue. Nah, they paid him that, and he's not going to turn down that money. He's not going to turn down that money. Now, if you're talking about, does his productivity live up to the numbers? Probably not, but you're going to see a lot more plumbers getting these type of contracts moving forward, and firemen and plumbers getting more contracts like this moving forward. Guys that really don't take the game seriously, really don't work on their game, just work on their dribbling and their shooting, and getting these massive contracts, right? That's what you're going to see. A lot of plumbers and firemen running off with the bag, right? A lot of plumbers and firemen running off with the bag. That's what you're going to see. And that's the way the sport is skewing. Do I feel a type of way about it? No, because number one, it's not my money. And number two, I'm not a pocket watcher like that. I'm not going to be here standing in front of dude. Nah, don't give him that money. So come on. No, it's his money. That's what they're willing to pay him. So they should pay him. All you can hope for is that he lives up to his contract. That's all you can hope for, is that he lives up to his contract. But that's the risk you take with almost any player, with the exception of the very few, because there's some guys in the NBA that, you want to make money, but they're also motivated by their legacy. And some players just love to play basketball, and they're willing to do every single thing to ensure that they're playing at a high level at all times. So time will tell. But as far as being upset about it and did he deserve it, that's what the market said he was worth. So that's what he got paid. And last time I checked, he didn't force the Boston Celtics to give him that contract. So these are my thoughts. What I want to know from you guys, what do you think about what Rick Barry had to say? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts in the comment section. We catch you guys on the next show.